Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today with a very special video of the first episode of Code Geass, Roze of the Recapture, and pretty much I'm going to break down the episode, everything that went down, and my overall thoughts on the episode. And just a disclaimer, I'm a huge Code Geass fan. The original 50 episode Code Geass series is my favorite anime of all time, and I've been very much anticipating this new, sequel to the Resurrection movie, which was pretty much a movie that came after the original series that took place in a different timeline, similar events, but still a couple of differences. And just gonna be straight up with you guys, there was a lot of expectation and a lot of build up to this, new series, because the Code Geass is such a prestige title of a series, and I'm very, very happy to say that this first episode actually, I think, is very, very good. I think it was a great introduction to this new world and the new cast of characters, and I can't wait to see what is more to come in the following episodes. Now, before I go any further with this week's episode, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my anime and manga, as well as all my Code Geass content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really, really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's episode. So, a little thing to note about this whole new series is that it's actually in Japan. They already got in like 6 episodes, because what they did over there is actually they released them in movie format. So 3 episodes equal 1 of the movies. And right now I believe they're in the second movie, like the end of the second movie. So there is a couple of spoilers that I knew, and I'll get to those spoilers that I knew already from the get-go. But to start off, we see the story, pick up where we get introduced to these 2 girls. They're in a snowstorm, and they seem to be separated, and that's all we know for that time being. And then we go a little recap of the events that have transpire in the Code Geass universe, which pretty much this takes place 7 years after the events of Resurrection, and we see pretty much how how the world became after Lelouch's death. Spoilers for the original series, if you haven't really already been spoiled by it. I mean, this is a sequel trilogy. A sequel to the original series slash the movie recaps. So this is going to be full spoilers right up ahead. But pretty much we see what happens after the events of, the Zero Requiem. And we see that Schneisel, he took over control in the sense that he was able to break the Britannia into different sections. So now they're different countries. So they no longer rule 1/3 of the world like they used to be. And we see pretty much how after the events of that, everything's been peaceful except for what it seems to be the main villain of this story they're telling, which is a new character, a new noble that is ruling Neo Britannia. And what Neo Britannia is, they took over the Hokkaido section of Japan, and they kind of like isolated it. And the way they were able to do that is because we see later on in the episode, these 2 nobles, they kind of give us an exposition of what's been going on. And we see that the reason that this events transpire is because after the events of the UN, the federations, how they all split apart and became different countries, this was their perfect moment for them to strike and eventually attack Japan. And now it's like a political thing, so the Black Knights really can't get in there, because we find out that there's like a force field blocking off that section of Japan, so nobody can get in. So that and it's also like it would be an international conflict. It's a lot of politics. And we see pretty much how these nobles are treating like the Japanese people. They treat them like scum. They're shooting them in nighttime, just in the middle of the street. They're just horrible. They don't even think of them as humans. Similar to how Britannians treated, Japanese people in the original Code Geass series, and any other source of Code Geass. And what we see is pretty much we get introduced to the main characters, which is Ash and Roze, or Roze, whichever you want to go. I watched the dub, so they just called him Roze. We see these 2 characters are like mercenaries. They're trying to protect the people. They seem good, kind-hearted people. And we get a little introduction to them. We get to see that pretty much Roze, he and his brother, they kind of just run around. They're kind of strays, or at least his brother Ash has been taking like a bunch of stray cats, and they're you can just tell they're very kind-hearted because they have all these animals in the band taking care of them. At one point, Ash even protects, like he gets out a bunch of kittens from like the lake or a river that were put in a box. Like, so Ash, you're good by me, my man. As a cat owner, I appreciate that. But what we see is pretty much eventually they get asked about this. They get kind of like in cahoots with this rebel group, similar to like the Black Knights in the early states of Code Geass. They're trying to like overthrow this Neo Britannia thing, and we see that eventually one of their members meets up with Roze and them, is like, hey, let's plan something out. But before that, we see a nice scene once again demonstrating how Roze is a very kind person, where they stop at a gas station. This racist guy is just like being a complete jerk to this girl just because she's Japanese, and eventually Roze, we know that he has a Geass, because if you've seen the trailers or anything, we know that this person has a Geass. And he makes it so this person like eventually just like becomes super nice to that person. He was like, I'll give you pay overtime, all that. I'll cover your shift. I'll make sure that you always get treated well at this job. He just makes it so he's eternally have to be nice to this chick. And like going back to the plot where I told you guys, the Roze and Ash, they get brought into this new organization, and this person is willing to hire them. And we see that this person is like, their code name is Black Cat or whatever. It's like, okay, we gotta attack Neo Britannia. And what their plan is, they pull up at night, they go attack one of their they pretty much attacked the noble that was killing like Japanese people in the middle of the street, and they caught him off guard. Roze has this very Lelouch type of introduction where she has a cape, and it's very like over the top, just like Lelouch. He would always be with the theatrics, and this person Roze, very similar to them, takes off the cloak. It's like, I'm Roze, and they pretty much like introduce themselves, and then you see Ash take care of the mech. He takes over the mech that they're controlling, and this mech looks awesome. It looks really, really cool. Not as cool as the Lancelot or the Gurren, but it's really cool mech design. Code Geass always slaps with the mechs, and they definitely slap once again with this. And what happens is pretty much we see that this mech is wiping the floor with everybody, and at one point, thanks to the distraction, Roze is able to get inside the commander that's controlling all this operation. And he gets in there, and they have a chess set. Like, they play chess. It's like, okay, like, instead of killing you, I'm just gonna let's play chess. And they play chess. Eventually, Roze is able to defeat the noble guy in a game of chess. He beats him, and we find out as a big plot twist that Roze is actually a girl, and Roze's actual name is Sakuya. And the thing that I told you guys earlier in the episode with the two girls in the snow, yeah, that was Sakuya, and I believe the other character's name was Sakura, and they were best friends. And it looks like Sakura is looking for Sakura. I mean, Sakuya is looking for Sakura. And eventually, what she uses her Geass, which seems to be like a voice type of Geass, hence why her little necklace has like a voice modulator, so it makes it so her voice sounds different. But now her voice is anybody can hear it, and she's able to use her Geass on this person. Whether she can do it at a command or is it a permanent Geass, we don't know. I had to speculate. She can use it at will, at least for the time being. So she uses it. It's like, okay, either you have to repay all the debts that you've done by 100, like in kindness, like you have to be like repay all the damage you've done to the Japanese people 100 times over in kindness, or you got to kill yourself. And the guy chooses to kill himself. Typical racist, right? But what happens is how the episode ends. Roze, she pretty much won, or should I say Sakuya, and we see that now they're really friendly in terms with the rebellion group that they were working with. And what we find out is that the reason she was working alongside them is because she's trying to find information on Sakura. And we find out that she is being kept in this prison, and it looks like in the next episode they're gonna break her out. And that's how the episode ends. And a key factors that I already knew going into this episode. I already knew Sakuya was Roze because I had seen like a trailer where they showed Roze taking out the wig and showing Sakuya. And one thing to note is that Sakuya's mom is actually a little fun fact. Charles's first daughter, she had a kid with a Japanese, the leader of the Hokkaido group. Hence why she is half Britannian and half Japanese. And how she has this power of authority because they said that Sakuya should be like the head leader of the clan, and that's how it explains it. Charles had a daughter, and that daughter married a Japanese person, but she lost her claim to the throne, and hence how she was being able to conceive to the world. So that's a little trivia for you guys to understand. And yeah, with all that being said, I thought that this episode was fantastic, and I can't wait to see how the story goes from here because I'm a huge Code Geass fan, and I think that this episode definitely delivered. Definitely looking forward to see what happens in the future. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's episode? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? What did you guys thought? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime and manga, as well as Code Geass content in the near future. But But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.